Manchester United fans, there is a major new twist developing in the club's midfield transfer plans, and this time, the name being linked with Old Trafford is Crystal Palace and England midfielder Adam Wharton. Manchester United are reportedly still interested in the 22-year-old midfielder, and a fresh report has now put a huge £85 million valuation on the player. But there is an even bigger question. Could Manchester United actually make a move for Wharton before the transfer window closes? Because United have already strengthened their midfield this summer with Youri Tielemans and Andrey Santos. Yet despite those additions, reports continue to suggest that Michael Carrick wants another midfielder, and that makes Adam Wharton a very interesting name. Manchester United have been searching for the right midfielder to add more control, technical quality, and defensive balance to the team. Wharton could potentially offer exactly that, but this would not be a simple transfer. Crystal Palace have no obvious reason to sell cheaply. Wharton is young, he's an England international, and his contract situation gives Palace a strong negotiating position. That is why the reported valuation has become such an important part of this story. A fresh report from the Mirror says Manchester United could consider another midfield addition and identifies Wharton as an £85 million rated target. That is an enormous amount of money, and it immediately raises the question, is Adam Wharton really worth £85 million? Before answering that, we need to understand why Manchester United are interested. Wharton has developed into one of the most highly rated young midfielders in English football. He's comfortable receiving the ball under pressure, he can dictate the tempo, he can move possession forward, and he has the ability to play deeper in midfield. Those characteristics are extremely important for Manchester United because Carrick wants his team to have more control. United cannot simply rely on individual moments of brilliance. They need to control matches. They need to build attacks properly. They need midfielders who can receive the ball and make the right decision. And this is where Wharton becomes interesting. Imagine Manchester United playing against a team that sits deep. The opposition blocks the space around Bruno Fernandes. The wingers are struggling to find room. United needs someone in midfield who can receive the ball and change the direction of the attack. Wharton could potentially help with that. He can drop deeper, he can receive possession, he can switch play, and he can help United move the ball from one side of the pitch to the other. That could give Carrick another tactical weapon. But there is also the defensive side. Manchester United have had midfield problems for several seasons. The club has gone through different combinations. Different managers have tried different systems, and now Carrick is trying to build something more stable. Youri Tielemans has already arrived. Andrey Santos has also joined, but another midfielder could give Carrick even more flexibility. And that is important because United are returning to the Champions League. The number of matches will increase, rotation will become necessary, injuries will happen, suspensions will happen, and Manchester United cannot expect 2 or 3 midfielders to play every single game. That is why squad depth matters. Carrick himself has indicated that United still need more signings, particularly in midfield and at left back. So the Wharton story is not completely random. It fits into a position that the club is actively trying to strengthen. But there is a major problem: the price. £85 million is a massive investment. Manchester United have already spent around £85 million this summer, according to recent reports, and Carrick has stressed that the club needs to make smart decisions rather than simply spending huge amounts for the sake of it. So would United really spend another £85 million on one midfielder? That is difficult to say. The reported figure could be a starting point for negotiations. It could be Palace's valuation rather than the final transfer fee. And it does not mean United have offered £85 million. This distinction is extremely important. Right now, we are talking about interest and a reported valuation. There is no confirmed agreement, no completed transfer, and Manchester United have not officially announced any bid for Wharton. But the interest itself is significant because United are not the only club looking at him. Chelsea have also been linked, Real Madrid have been mentioned, and Liverpool have reportedly shown interest as well. In fact, recent reports say Liverpool have made direct contact regarding Wharton after Manchester United had already made an inquiry. That could turn this into a Premier League transfer battle, and Manchester United cannot afford to lose another midfield target if Wharton becomes a serious priority. But there is something else that could work in United's favor. Wharton reportedly wants to take the next step in his career and has previously been linked to a move to a Champions League club. Manchester United can offer that. United are back in the Champions League. They have a massive global profile, and Carrick is building a new project. So from the player's perspective, a move to Old Trafford could be extremely attractive. But there is also a risk. Moving from Crystal Palace to Manchester United is a completely different challenge. At Palace, Wharton can play with less pressure. At United, every mistake is analyzed, every poor performance becomes a headline, and an £85 million price tag would make that pressure even greater. So Manchester United would have to be absolutely convinced. They cannot spend £85 million simply because they need another midfielder. They need to believe Wharton can become one of the central players in Carrick's project. And that brings us to the biggest question. What exactly would Adam Wharton bring to Manchester United? The answer is control, and that could be something United desperately need. Manchester United have attacking talent. There is Bruno Fernandes, there is Matheus Cunha, there is Brian Buemo, there is Benjamin Sesko. There are exciting young players coming through. But attacking talent only works properly when the midfield can supply them. That is why the midfield remains so important. If United lose possession too easily, their attackers become isolated. If the midfield cannot progress the ball, Bruno has to drop too deep. If the team cannot protect the defense, the center-backs come under pressure. And if the team cannot control the tempo, United can become vulnerable. This is where Adam Wharton could potentially make a difference. He could give Carrick another player who is comfortable controlling possession. He could allow Bruno to stay higher up on the pitch. He could help the team build from deeper positions, and he could potentially make United more difficult to press. Imagine a midfield with Wharton alongside Tielemans, then Bruno Fernandes playing further forward. That would give United a mixture of technical ability, passing range, and creativity. And when United need more defensive stability, Carrick could change the midfield structure. That tactical flexibility could be extremely valuable during a long season. But again, the £85 million question remains. Would United really need to spend that much? There are alternatives. Manchester United have already been linked with several midfielders. Aurélien Tchouameni have been mentioned. Manu Kone has been linked. Carlos Baleba has also been discussed. So Wharton is not the only option, and that could actually help United during negotiations. If Palace demand £85 million and refuse to move, United can look elsewhere. That is important because Carrick has already spoken about the importance of squad balance. Manchester United need more than one player. They still need to strengthen at left back. They may need more depth elsewhere, and they have financial limitations. So spending the majority of their remaining budget on one player could be risky. But there is another side to the argument. If Manchester United believe Wharton is genuinely elite, they could decide that paying a premium now is better than regretting it later. That's how modern transfer markets work. Young English players are expensive. Premier League clubs know that, and Crystal Palace know that they have a valuable asset. They are under no pressure to accept a low offer. Wharton is still young, he has international pedigree, and his contract situation gives Palace a strong negotiating position. That is why the reported valuation has become such an important part of this story. If Liverpool make a serious move, Palace suddenly have multiple major clubs competing. That could push the price even higher. Manchester United would then have to decide whether to enter a bidding war, and personally, that is the situation United should avoid. If the club's valuation is £60 million and Palace want £85 million, United should not automatically pay £85 million simply because Liverpool are interested. The recruitment team needs to stay disciplined, because this is not about winning a transfer battle, it's about building the right team. And Carrick needs players who fit his football. Wharton could potentially fit, but the price has to make sense. There is also the question of experience. Wharton is only 22. He's still developing. He has not played hundreds of Champions League matches. He has not experienced the pressure of competing for Premier League titles. That doesn't mean he can't become a top player.